From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Ants Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Well, we got through the heat wave. I hope you made it through. Of course, we got another hot day in store for us tomorrow, but temperatures are dropping. And we're going to notice that drop in our temperatures here as we go into tomorrow and really the rest of the week, but still hot any way you look at it. There you can see some of the high clouds that did kind of filter into pretty much all of Northern California today, and that's all thanks to the monsoon moisture that's moved on in. Now that monsoon moisture is going to give us the potential for some showers and maybe some thunderstorms here as we go into the evening and overnight hours tonight. And this includes the valley, but even most of the mountains are going to see this activity as well. Once that moves out by tomorrow morning, that will be it. Now we're also talking about temperatures, as I mentioned, not as hot as they have been, but highs will most likely still be above normal for this time of the year. All right, here are the high temperatures we saw today. This is a total bummer because we're talking about the potential of breaking records, especially in Mount Shasta and even El Turris, and the temperature gauges were down today. So I had to take numbers that were kind of in the surrounding areas for Mount Shasta and El Turris to kind of give you an idea what the high was. So we'll take a look at those records here in a second here, but look at these temperatures in the valley. I mean, 106 to 112 degrees, depending on where you are. Aden, 102. Susanville, 100 degrees. Hoopa, about 93. Look at Weaverville, Hayfork, as expected, about 105 to 106. All right, so here are the record highs. Now, yesterday, we came nowhere near the record with a high of 110. It was actually warmer today with a high of 112, but once again, nowhere near that record of 117. Both those records this weekend were set in 1972. So of course that was obviously the big year, right? So we take a look at the record highs from Mount Shasta. Now yesterday we actually broke a record with a high of 100 degrees. Today, not 100% clear if we did or not. Again, this is a neighboring temperature gauge from the official gauge here from Mount Shasta. So the record for Mount Shasta is 98 degrees. There's a chance we may have tied or broken that record, quite honestly. But again, I don't have the official number because the temperature gauge, the official one, is down. And that's the same story for El Turris. El Turris did not break a record yesterday. And most likely, I'd say that we didn't break a record today in El Turris either. But Susanville broke the record yesterday, but didn't today. But you kind of get the idea. Where most of the records broken were actually in the higher elevations and not in the valley. And speaking of the valley, here's what it looks like for your Monday. Temperature is still quite hot, about 105, 106 for Red Bluff and Redding, about 102 for Chico. We take you into the mountains where temperatures are dropping below 100 degrees and will be in the low to even some mid-90s. Although warmer places like Susanville, about 97 and 96 out in Paradise. All right, so there's that temperature trend. And as I mentioned, temperature is not as hot, but it's still going to be hot. I mean, the normal high is 100 degrees. We're going to be most likely well above that for the next 7 days. I mean, even Tuesday, Wednesday, the peak of the cooling trend is 102 to 103. But look at that, 106, 109 by Friday, and then back up to about 106 to 107 by next weekend. So yeah, we have a bit of another heat wave heading our way toward the end of this week, next week that is, and it looks like that's going to be the case here as we go, especially towards, say, Thursday, Friday into the weekend. So this is what it looks like through Wednesday. That heat gets pushed back down to the south. But watch what happens. As we go into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, even Sunday, that heat will just slowly expand northward. But the main, what we call axis right here, we're to the west of that axis. And that's where the cooler temperatures are, not as hot. So you can bet that if this wasn't here, these temperatures that we'd be experiencing this next weekend would be a lot hotter. So we can be very grateful for that cooler air moving in. Now we're switching gears and we're talking about monsoon moisture that's working its way up into Northern California. You may have noticed that when you looked at the clouds today, right? A lot of those high level clouds, that's the monsoon moisture coming in. Feels a little bit more muggy out there than we're used to. So when we look at the thunderstorm outlook, all of the areas in green is where we have the best chances for showers and thunderstorms. That's what this indicates right here. You'll notice the very western fringe of that does include Trinity County, but I think it's going to be mainly extreme eastern Trinity County. But Weaverville, Hayfork could quite possibly see a stray shower or thunderstorm as well. And it's mainly going to be tonight. Let's take a look at FUTURECAST and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's take you into tonight. About 10 o'clock, you see how we're beginning to see a little bit of activity here developing around Tehama County, but even really anywhere. Don't take this to be the exact location. But basically where this cloud line ends to the east is where we have chances for thunderstorms developing this evening and tonight. Then you'll notice by after midnight, now the bulk of the activity is to the east of the valley here, and we're still seeing a little bit of activity though, maybe some rumbles of thunder. Now, one of the concerns with these thunderstorms is these are what we call high base thunderstorms. And what that means is the base of the thunderstorm is pretty high in the atmosphere and far away from the surface. Now, as you know, it's quite dry out there as it is, so any rain that we get out of these will either be minimal or no rain at all. And so we have the potential, unfortunately, for some dry lightning strikes. So you can bet that the firefighters, in particular for this area right here, are going to be really keeping a close eye on where the lightning strikes are going to be and if any fires should start. Now, the good news is we're not expecting any major wind events, minus, of course, the wind that we initially see with the thunderstorms. But outside of that, the winds won't be a terrible concern as far as fire weather is concerned. We go into 8 a.m. tomorrow morning and it's all gone. And then by tomorrow afternoon, we're looking at sunny skies, hot conditions, and probably, again, a little bit more muggy than we're used to. And then you can see as we go into your Tuesday, still have fog along the coast, but still sunny skies, no more thunderstorms at this point in the forecast as we even go through the rest of the week. All right, so here's what it looks like tonight. So you can see the best chances for thunderstorms will be this area right here. You head west of that, the chances will be slimmer. Now for tomorrow, no more thunderstorms, plenty of sunshine, temperature still rather hot, 106 for Redding, 102 for Chico, about 90 for Ayden, and then of course as you head west, those temperatures pretty warm out in Trinity County. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast, and you can see for Mount Shasta, low 90s through Wednesday, and then a slight increase toward the end of the week. And that's really going to be the trend anywhere you go in the mountains, and not to mention in the valley. In fact, here's your valley 7-day forecast for Redding, Red Bluff, and Chico. So you can see the temperatures are dropping just a tad for Tuesday, Wednesday, but then they'll pick back up again for Thursday and in particular Friday, and still quite hot as we go into next weekend.